there's anything.
These
Ooh,
guys,
let's click on the angle. We're getting the angle.
But these guys
jump into politics.
Like the way
you don't get 1776 without 1775.
We're going to get the Laura Ingraham angle of it.
Sending a letter is to making a trade deal as masturbation is to sex.
Propaganda.
Truth, meet consequences. That's the focus.
Bro, they're going to freak out over this guy.
Of course. Oh, they've already gone after him.
All right, if you thought New York was bad under Big Bird de Blasio, with the crime, the drugs, the filth, the anti-police insanity, you ain't seen nothing yet, people.
The way they portray New York
night in the Democrat mayoral primary.
It's just, it's not.
Like
it's
there's
just,
doo-wop singers over fire barrels.
I know,
and shit.
Andrew Cuomo to concede in the fourth.
I had a black guy look at me on the way to work today.
Cuomo by 7 points. Party. Zohran's a Muslim, and his views are staunchly anti-Israel. If he wins the general election, Mamdani would be the most left-wing
you know what I call
person
anti-Israel,
ever
Keith? Trying to hold Israel accountable. That's actually anti-Israel. That's it.
Rent prices and wants to borrow $70 billion for more affordable housing.
Oh,
now,
God,
past,
what a horrible thing to do.
On all of the social medias, landlords are fucking freaking out, dude.
Yeah. Well, you know, we'll have to see what happens. Well, I'll be curious to see what they're planning. You know, Ed Koch, when he was mayor, that's the first New York mayor that I actually remember was Ed Koch, 77 to 89. And he's very much given credit for basically taking it out of the doldrums of the 70s. He also was able to construct over like a couple 100,000
among
units.
higher income voters. How is this possible?
Voters who are
well, no, they like that because they want to say, you see, they're elitist. They're elitist. We're not elitist, Keith.
Look, for more than 25 years under the policies of globalization.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Laura's looking good today.
She's got a new makeup
she
person.
Looks fresh. She doesn't have, she definitely got a haircut.
Yeah.
Sans
Does anyone
politics.
remember that?
Sans politics.
Yeah.
You're at a restaurant about to go on a hinge date. She walks in. Are you like, okay? And then obviously she starts talking.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, I could tell by her look that she'd be a Republican, like wasp.
It's the hoop earrings.
Yeah, and just that the collar, you know, like what she's wearing. I don't know.
When law enforcement were berated and smeared, even attacked by some young people, those people who
they make it sound like it's 1968 right now. That thousands of buildings are burning across the city right now. You know, that's what they make it seem like. It's unbelievable.
We're living on stolen land claptrap. They treat George Floyd as a modern day saint. They treat deportation.
No.
They treat him as a victim of police brutality.
Yeah. George Floyd was a criminal. That doesn't mean he should have been fucking murdered, for crying out loud. That's the problem. Oh God, I cannot stand their branding.
Glastonbury fucking.
You know. Sorry, I gotta make jokes, not be so vitriolic.
No, you can go. That's fun too.
Just an anti-establishment avatar, though, isn't it? Trashing Trump.
God, they are just. They know. They immediately attack him. Just immediately go after him.
So lost and so weak, they simply cave. Poor old Chuck Schumer doesn't even try to stand up for New York capitalism or urge a more moderate path. But it's official.
By the way, if Chuck Schumer would go away, I would be fine with Chuck Schumer leaving. I'm sick of Chuck Schumer. I think he's
all these people. They got like it's not just an election. They're the election clock is not all they're up against. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's got a gun! I don't. You know, it's interesting. Larry Simon. I was reading in The Economist. They were talking about how this, presents a quandary or a problem for the Democratic Party. I don't know. Get some new ideas out there. See what happens. Listen, you got to try something, So I don't know. It's in New York City. It fucking matters. It's an important city. So that this is information. People aren't buying your bullshit. They're getting sick of you ramrodding your awful vision down their throat.
About whether or not our democracy will.
Eric Holder. She loves dusting off Eric Holder.
Yeah.
Did he like reject you?
Unrecognizable to us. That would be one that we'd.
And yes. It is racist.
Thanks, Michelle. Straight from Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, now, she's so elitist. Because, are you next door neighbors? Like, where do you live? Do you go to Quogue on Long Island? Is that what you do, Laura?
You live in Brooklyn.
Yeah, because she's living in the housing projects. I love it when they play that angle. Like, hey, we represent the working class person.
I actually live in a rent control in Chinatown.
I know.
Starts to get remade, doesn't it? Stephen Miller hit the nail on the head. In a post on X last night, writing in part that unchecked migration fundamentally remade New York City, the electorate there. Democrats changed politics by changing voters. That's how you turn a city that
Unchecked migration is why New York City is a giant. It's why there's fucking 8 million people. Like,
Yeah,
it's why New York is New York.
Yeah, it's fundamental to its
It's called
success,
Angel
actually.
Island. What the fuck was the
Ellis Island,
What's
yeah.
Ellis Island? You fuck.
Yeah, well, it's just Angel Island was where Frank Morris went when they escaped from Alcatraz. Also, what I heard is he ate glue when he was like an 8-year-old kid. Like, he'd eat glue. One of those, like a glue eater. That's kind of strange, isn't it? Is that kind of odd?
I knew a girl in kindergarten that ate glue, but that's eat glue age.
Because she endorsed him and she helped propel him into office back in 2020 when he flipped a Democratic seat, defeating a Democrat incumbent. And ultimately, you have seen this rise within New York City of avowed socialism. They openly talk about defunding the police, not cooperating with ICE agents. Free everything, free grocery stores.
That's
free
what it is.
busing,
It's just free everything. That's all
blowing,
it is.
There's a Patrick Bet David clip. Well, no, because he wants to create 20 city-owned grocery stores. And they
why would you do that?
People are fucking freaking out about that. That's communism.
No, it's not actually. It's not. It's actually an alternative.
Democrats surrender into socialism.
And population leaving New York with an avowed socialist running.
I'm sorry.
Socialist. And he's not white.
meet with him, they said.
Are going to meet with him and do what?
You're
Are you gonna
you're
tell him that-
eliminating the Department of Education. Do you realize what a bad idea that is? Yes, you do realize it's a bad idea because you don't want people to have basic services. You don't want them to just the most fundamental parts. How can you possibly expect people to advance in this world if they don't have access to a decent education? But you're trying to undercut that. Whatever. A lot of funding is local, or almost all of it's local funding anyway in this country. But still, you're going to cut like 15% of the budgets for schools. It's a terrible idea. But I always knew that was part of their agenda. What's going on right now is
Linda McMahon is also going to get rid of folding chairs and fold-out tables because she's seen the destruction those can wreak in WWE. My time managing a sports league.
Is it true that you and Zohran Mamdani were often confused in the New York State Assembly?
Yes.
I don't know why that would be.
Isn't that
I don't
funny?
know. You were both confused, but it's a negative on him, and for you, it's a positive.
Exactly. It's also because
it was me. It was quite fast.
He looked on my paper for all the answers.
He's very charming, very charismatic, very personable.
That's part of the plan, isn't it?
It's a plan.
All these psychopaths.
It's a plan.
I mean, Hitler was
such a nice, likable guy.
Rapier wit.
5 years ago in an email to a lot of these big tech guys. Why are young people turning against the
New York is on a suicide mission. This is amazing.
They would go with Democrats. Why?
I can't wait until this works. If this totally works, what do you think their play will be?
Well, they will just look at the things that don't work well enough and point that out. That was a failing. Well, not everything is going to work, Keith. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try doing it because some of it does work. Something that worked that was a social experiment 100 years ago. Social Security, that actually worked, and they should not be messing with that, or Medicare or Medicaid for that matter. That needs to be focused on a lot, and unfortunately, we're going to get a big old a shit sandwich here when that budget passes. But I'm going off on a tangent. So I'm getting exactly
of what they did and what they didn't do.
I think that you're right.
Michael Steele's so boring.
Want to explain it because
he was the head of the RNC.
See, that's the thing. Again, whenever people are like, why don't you make fun of MSNBC? Because aside from them being like nerds, there's no meat. They don't say anything stupid. They say things I disagree with, but it's like they're not ridiculously false with everything they say.
Exactly.
Having a bad take is different than being wrong.
I know, just being dead flat. What was the line again? Was it New York City careens towards socialism? What was the line they had?
They're on a suicide mission.
A suicide mission.
The knife of socialism is at the throat of Manhattan right now.
Our military, it's the spin, and I think people are seeing through this.
God, the rich are really trying to hold their money.
Now their whole angle is going to be. They're probably going to lean into this whole Trump illegally attacking Iran, but we tried this with Bush and when he did it with Iraq.
That's what people don't understand. A lot of left people or more rational folks, when they look at MAGA, I don't get it. Why are they voting for him?
Look at this guy.
One of the things Trump said, he's the peace president.
He looks like he's doing that trick where you catch your head in your hands.
If they are the only ones in attendance,
He looks
I'm going to write a letter.
He looks like one of the zombies in Thriller.
it would make Americans wonder, why would Donald Trump prefer to send two talking heads to meet?
I will stand here and talk boorishly and boringly until this monster is not the president anymore.
I think he's the only person in the chambers.
And perhaps that's why Donald Trump does not want to send the intelligence officials to talk to us.
The intelligence officials?
Neither of you nor
You know the officials, Crocious.
Yeah.
on the heels of Donald Trump publicly discrediting his own DNI, saying that she is constantly misspeaking, saying that she constantly is sharing bad
it's like
information.
he's a child. You can't corral him. Even the fealty, the people who kiss his ass.
So much salmon going on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It goes light. It's kind of like Neapolitan salmon.
Yeah.
You know? yeah. That was the color of choice.
And if
We want to know why? I think it's still Pride Month, and we're coming up to the actual weekend.
This looks
right?
like the colors of the board game Mall Madness from the 90s.
correctly, hey, our intelligence community is telling us that Iran is not doing A, B, and C, is not capable of doing X, Y, and Z.
I think he did it just he wants to rattle the cage and
rattle the cage. Today,
it is again. People have to realize. I think a lot of MAGA is very upset about this. Would you agree with me, Keith?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
there are some like, but
there are so many people that are just bootlicking. And I think eventually the people that are upset are just going to flip. I mean, Hannity, all of Fox News this whole week has just been talking about how actually going to war is America first. Now that we thought about it, it's very America first because they're such a threat.
I know they're such a threat to our country. Jesus Christ. It's just, they're a threat to the world. Yeah, it is an anti-reality, I mean, although at the same time.
Cal. This is a little bit, if you want conservative LA, you throw on KTLA.
As an independent in November's mayoral election.
India, Poland, and Hungary launched their first astronauts in more than 40 years today, sending them aboard a private flight.
Did they have that little paint on the helmet?
Yeah. NASA's Kennedy Space Center has been delayed for
like the
2
dot,
weeks.
you know what you're saying? God. I thought you were going to make a Pollock joke,
Yeah. No, I went way harsher and more problematic.
Two young bears.
But you see, I didn't say DH. I didn't say DOT head.
Yes.
The UK Wildlife Park. The European brown bears named Mish and Lucy devoured a week's worth of honey during their
it devoured a newborn baby on security camera.
Just ripping it to shreds.
Don't know if they lured him with honey or something else.
Look at that dude. He's all tall and hey, I'm young and